Hey guys, I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to listen to me properly as well as there's no issues with the audio or the video, please do let me know. Hello everyone, I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to listen to me properly as well as there's no issues with the audio or the video, please do let me know. Hello everyone, good evening, good evening. My voice is crystal clear. Okay, great. So there's no issues with the audio or the video, am I right? All clear. Okay, great. So in today's class, we'll be learning about components. Okay, we will also be, so we have skipped up inline styling in React. So that's a bit different when compared to direct CSS. So that too we'll be looking at first of all, then we'll be working upon components. It would be a relatively easy session, I guess. You won't be having some problems right over here. Okay, as well as if we get enough time, if time permits, if we are not crossing the 1 hour limit after learning all that, I have some extra information about the import and the require statements as well. So if we get time, we'll dive deep into that as well. Okay, MD Bilal. Yes, Bilal, I had just seen your message right now. So after the boot camp, we will have a talk and I will like look through the message. I have not read it up till now. Okay, my list color is not changing. I think so. There should be some mistake that you are currently making while writing your code. So just look at the code properly and it would change. Okay. Okay, will have to refresh the website as well. The website where you want to see your changes, you'll have to reload the website to look at the changes because the change that you're currently making is in a separate file, that is the CSS file. You'll have to refresh the page as well. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yeah, my health is not perfect, but yeah, I will do with it. I'm just waiting for everyone to join, guys. Please be on time so that we are able to start the session on time itself. We have only 7 days to complete everything. Uh, Chaudhary, look at my code. Okay, the code is already given to you yesterday. I gave the code sandbox as well to you guys. It would work. There's no, if you are making any mistake, then there's like I cannot help you out with that right now. But yeah, just look at the code, compare your code with mine. All the three files, the CSS, HTML, as well as the JavaScript files, and that would be perfect. Okay. We'll wait for 5 more minutes so that everyone is able to join up till that point of time. If you guys have any questions, do let me know. If you guys have any questions or any queries, do let me know. Diksha, like I said, just compare the two like code bases. I've already given you my code that we have written yesterday and it was working. So compare it line by line in all the three files, whether it be the JavaScript file, the CSS file, or the HTML file, and look into it what mistake that you are currently doing. Okay. Neeraj, the code automatically runs. This is not something that you have to run your code. Okay. Sure, I will resend the link for the code again. I've sent you the code once again. Okay. No, you cannot make an app using HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, for that you will have to learn either Android or Flutter or React Native, or if you're going with iOS devices, then you will have to learn Swift. That is what you guys will be doing. I've already sent you the code. Okay. Okay, so I don't think so more people are going to join us. Guys, please be on time. Don't be late. Let's start off with our today's class. Okay, so yesterday we had learned about a little bit of coloring and everything. Okay, so basically CSS itself. Today we are here to basically try to understand how to have inline CSS. So for example, you don't want to write your CSS in this particular sheet. You don't want to write your CSS code in the CSS sheet. You want it to be inside your React like file itself. So what can you do? So if I want to write my styles, basically CSS code right over here, when you were dealing with normal HTML, please remember again and again, last class also I had said it to you guys that this is not HTML, this is not JavaScript, this is JSX. So it has a little bit different properties, but yet a sense of familiarity as well. So for example, in the normal CSS way, so for example, if I wanted to change the CSS property, that is color, to red right over here for the H1 element, as you're able to see, our H1 element is black right now. So the code that I would be usually writing when compared to normal HTML and CSS would be style, and then style is equals to, then we'll be having a string. Inside the string we'll be writing our color, and color we want to set it to red. So this is usually how you will be writing your style code in CSS. But as you are able to see that we are getting an error, this won't work on your website as well. You will get an error saying that the prop expects a mapping from style properties to values, not a string. For example, style is equals to right margin spacing plus em when used in JSX. So in JSX, it's a bit different. What style as a JSX property would be expecting from you would be a JavaScript object. So you would have to, instead of writing, so this is treated as a JavaScript string right over here. This is not treated as an HTML, not treated as a CSS property. It's treated as a normal string. So JSX is not able to identify that. Now your duty right over here would be that if you want to do something like this, style will accept a JavaScript object. Now how to create that object, let's look into it. So what you can do is, let's so we don't have this use of var author, let's remove that. You need to create a particular constant variable. So const, it's also a type of variable, okay, where the value cannot be changed later on. So we are going to create a const, let's name it as custom style. Okay, so CUSTOMSTYLE style. Again, you will have to have it as camel sized itself. This is how you create a normal JavaScript object. Inside your curly parenthesis, you have a mapping. So for example, color, if I want to put color as, let's say, red, so I will have to have a string and I will have to put up red right over here. Okay, so when I'm saving this right over here, and now once we have created a JavaScript object right over here, so this is a JavaScript object, guys. This is the normal code on how you make a JavaScript object. Okay, so the name of the JavaScript object is custom style. There's only one style inside of it right now, that is color needs to be changed to red. Okay, so what you will be doing right now is you will be coming up till here, that is style, and then as this is JavaScript, please remember this is JavaScript. So whenever you wanted to use JavaScript, you had to put it up inside curly brackets. So similarly, right over here as well, you will have to put up a curly brackets, and inside of that you will have your custom style. Okay, that is your object right over there. So you have created your object, you have put your object right over here because this is JavaScript. Please remember once again, this is JavaScript, this is a JavaScript object. Like this is a particular variable, that is name. So if you wanted to use name, you had to put it up inside of curly brackets to specify that this is a JavaScript object and not a text. Similarly, right over here as well, as custom styles is a JavaScript object, you will have to put it up inside of curly brackets. And then once you have saved it, go back to your website and you are able to see that your color with inline property has been, inline CSS has been changed to React. Of course, there's no need to do this. You can directly go to your CSS and put up a particular code like H1, and then you want to change it, the color to, let's say, blue. Okay, just to make sure that it's working. So blue, and you're saving it right over here, going back to your index.js. You're removing your style from right over here. Let us remove that for right now. Save this, go back to our website, reload the page. As you're able to see, your normal CSS, okay, from the external file is being able to apply, and now the color for React is blue. Okay, so that's the basic property. Now what if I want to have like multiple styles right over here? Instead of just having like a color is red, I want to have multiple styles right over here. So normally, whenever you were using CSS, you will put a semicolon and go back to the next line. But as this is a JavaScript object, you will have to put a comma, go back to the next line, write your second line of like whatever changes that you want to make, whatever attributes that you want to change. So let's put up a border. And let's set the border to, again, whatever property that you want to apply, you will have to put it up as a string itself. So let's say we want a border that is 2 pixel wide, we want the border to be solid, and we want it to be salmon. Okay, so this is the property that I'm setting. Border is 2 pixels, solid salmon. Okay, we have set up our styles as custom styles. This is the custom style object. You can put as many numbers. So if I want to put another, so I will just put a comma and then I will go further with writing more inline CSS. Right now I want to keep it till here. Go back to our website. As you are able to see, we have got a 2 pixel thick salmon solid border put up around our React object. Okay, so that is how you can like manipulate your inline CSS as well. Are you guys able to get this? Please let me know. Are you guys able to get this? Please let me know. Guys, are you able to get this? This is very important. So some of you are coming up late to the class. I am reminding you again, you will be losing on concepts. Okay, the certificate does not matter if you're not able to learn anything, because it's the knowledge that's important at the end of the day. Because the interviewer will ask you these type of questions, he will just directly tell you write inline CSS code, and you would just poop right over there. And when you are doing that, he will be able to understand none of your certificates are true, everything is false on your resume, he will never be able to select you. Okay, so try to understand as much as you can. Okay, great. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. So now we have completed our inline CSS as well. Our aim is to right now learn about your normal components. Okay, so that is our goal right now. So what we are going to do is, first of all, we will be removing these things. Okay, because that's not necessary. We'll be removing the custom style as well. And we'll change the name directly to React just to keep things simple. Okay, so I think so this will make it a bit simple. There's nothing more to it. Let's remove some more lines from here just to make things more compact. Let's decrease this as well. Remove one line. We'll just close this up as well, increase the size. Now it should look a bit more presentable. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to learn about components. Like I said, the basics of React that has been created is the boon of component that has been provided to us in React, and that would be our focus. The current website that we are having, let's just reload the page. This is the current website that we are having, an image, UL list, a paragraph, and some heading. We want to separate everything out in their own components. Now please try to understand that it is not necessary for you to like do what I'm currently doing. Creating components can be a lot higher level as well, like an entire navigation bar that contains a logo, that contains links, that contains a search bar, that contains a hamburger option, everything that come together inside a single component as well. But just to make sure that you guys are able to understand the concepts of components, on how to create components in a easier sense, hence I am currently working with a shorter version for the same. Okay, so let's create our very first component, a simple version of the component. To create a component, you basically require the use of functions, which we have already learned. So can somebody remind me how to create a function? Can somebody remind me? We have already studied it, how to create a function in JavaScript. Get a glass of water. Can somebody remind me how to create a function in JavaScript? Function, func name. Okay, great. So, okay. Function name. Okay, great. So most of you are able to remember it correctly. So we'll create a very first function right over here. Okay, function. We want to create a function called as heading. Please keep in mind that the h is capital right over here because you are creating a component. Okay, so whenever you are creating a component, you will try to keep the first letter as capital. Okay, the second thing that you have to work on with is a return statement. So what is this function going to do? This function is going to return, so we have already looked into it, our h1 element. Okay, so we'll just remove this from right over here, paste it, and this is how you are able to create a function in JavaScript. We have already known this. This function is called as heading with the h capital, and it returns your h1 element to you. Now what you can do is right over here you can create your very first component called as heading. Okay, and you can close this as well. Now the issue is, as heading does not contain, as the heading component does not contain anything inside of it, it's empty. So whenever I will be saving it, instead of having one open and a close tag, it will be converted into a self closing tag, just like an image tag itself. So if I'm going back to my website, reloading the page, you are able to see that we are able to get React, which is being rendered as a component, because here the heading itself is a function that returns your h1 component. So your h1 is being rendered right over here. Now you can even remove this. You don't need an opening and a closing tag. You can just have a self closing tag as well. Okay, you will be able to see most of the components look like this, because most of the components that you will be creating in React will not have any information that you need to provide inside of it. Okay, so when you are going back to your website, reloading the page, you are able to see that it still gets rendered. So this is how you are able to create your very first component. Do you guys have any questions up till here? Please let me know. Do you have any questions up till here, guys? Please let me know. Yeah, Shreyans, you are absolutely correct. And keep the h capital. Okay, you are creating a component, it should be different from the tags that you are using. So the h, whatever component that you are creating, the first letter of that component should be a capital letter. Okay, clear, no issues. Like there are almost 150 of you. How can this be possible that 152 of you have no doubts, everything is clear to you, and I'm able to see only 4 or 5 people writing we have no issues up till now? Can you guys let me know? Like you are 150 right now live with us. Are you guys able to understand or not? Please let me know. I need to see at least 70, 80. Yes, sir, we are able to understand. Otherwise, like it's not useful for me to teach if you guys are actually not listening to me properly. I want to see 70, 80 people writing yes, sir, right now. Capital letter is a good practice, it's not a necessity. Okay, great. uh Next, what we are going to do is, now if you are creating functions, like if you are creating components like this in the same like page, it is not useful. You are just increasing your work at the end of the day. So we will shift our heading component to a separate file. Let's create a new file right over here. Let's name it as the same as the component that you're going to use. So heading component dot JSX. So this is a Java JSX file. Okay, so we are going to name it as heading dot JSX. Now what we are going to do is we are going to remove our function from right over here. Okay, we don't want to have it here. We'll save this, go back to our heading.jsx, paste it right over here. We are going to have our component from here. Now this is as a JSX files. It needs Babel so that it is able to understand the JSX portion itself. So you will have to import React once again in that file as well. So we will be importing React from right over here so that it is able to understand the JSX. Now whenever this particular file, like you are going to use this file, like this file basically contains a heading component, and you will be using this file by importing it right over here to be able to use it. Now to import it there, so if you want to import the heading component right over here in your index.js, you need to export your heading function from this file. Okay, to export it, the code is export default, and then you are going to have your heading. Okay, please remember right over here we don't have a parenthesis. Okay, we don't have a parenthesis right over here. The reason for the same is we are not calling this function. Okay, we are just exporting this function. It is being exported right over here where it will be able to use this particular function as a component. Okay, so there is no parenthesis. You are exporting the entire function whenever anybody is importing this file. So once you have exported this file, you need to import it in the index.js. So to import that particular file, you are going to have your import, and then you are going to have heading. That is the function that you are importing from. Where are you importing this from? So we are importing it from that particular file called as heading.jsx. Okay, to access that file, we are in the same repository. We are looking for a file called as heading.jsx. Okay, now this would of course work. Okay, there's no issues with this. Okay, but as you are using your ES6 version of Java JSX, okay, you are using ES6 version of JavaScript and JSX, so you can remove the like file name. Okay, you can remove the extension to that file as well. You don't require to need it, so you can directly write /heading because it's in the same folder as index.js, and then you can save this from right over here, go back to your website, reload the page, and as you're able to see, it's working absolutely fine. There's no issues with this. So you have created your very first component called as heading.jsx. It was exceptionally simple. You are having your heading file, heading.jsx file. Inside of it, you are importing React because you need Babel. You are creating the function that will return the h1 element, and then you are exporting the heading function. And then you are going into your index.js, you are importing the heading from the heading file, and then you are using it as a component. So that is how you basically create a component in React.js. Are you guys able to understand this up till here? Please let me know. Can we have multiple functions in the component file? Yes, you can. Okay, if we do we have to export each and every function? So that is what is an advanced level topic. That is the concept. If we get enough time today, if we are able to finish off with the components early and I get some time, I will be explaining this as well. Okay, so let's try to finish this particular components off as soon as possible so that we are able to focus upon that question that we do. If can we have multiple functions, how will we be able to import those functions? So I will give you a very basic understanding about the entire thing as well. Okay, component necessarily contains HTML code? No, that is not true. But yes, for basics purpose, you can just consider that to be true for you guys. For advanced level things, no, that's not true. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand up till here? I need to proceed further. Please let me know. Aditya, are you coming to this class for the first time, or are you late? Because I have already told like how to comment a line yesterday, and I have told about components today. Okay, great. So let's move further from right over here. Now, if what if I want to like create another component? Let's look at that. So let's look at the entire UL tag. So if I want to convert the list, this entire list into a particular component, so what will I be doing? So again, we'll be first creating a new file. We'll be naming the file as list. Again, the L should be capital .jsx. Okay, so we have created our list.jsx. Inside of that, we'll paste our import React from React. We will cut out our list from right over here, paste it here. Once you have done that, just like I will align this. So we need to create a function. So let's remove this. Let's create a function called as list parameters, control V. So we are able to have our function embed right over here. Let's align everything properly as well. It should look appropriate enough. Okay. Are you guys able to see everything on my screen? There's no issues with the same. Please let me know. Okay. So we'll have to put up a return statement, return. Then we will return everything right over here, control V. We need to put up a semicolon right over here. This has created our function. Once created the function, we need to export it. So export default, and we want to export list from right over here. We save it. Why is it not saving itself? Okay, yeah, it's. Then we are going to import the list right over here. So import list from ./list, and then we are going to use the list right over here. List self closing tag, control S, go back to our website, reload the page. And as you are able to see, we have got our colored list right now as an individual component. So why this component is important? So for example, if you want to make any changes to the list, you actually know where it is. And so for example, this entire file can be given to any developer. Now each of these components are not as simple as just a single list. Okay, it will be very complicated. Maybe when you're looking at a particular website, this entire box, this entire box might be a single component. And now when that component is there is a lot many information that is going on, a lot many functionality that is there right over here. So when that is given to a single team to work upon, it becomes very easy to manage an entire project. That is the reason why you have components, and it basically, due to virtual DOM and everything, it renders everything very fast. Okay, so that is two of the things. So we have created a heading component, we have created a list component. Now what we can do is the rest we can put it up inside a single component itself. Let's create a component, let's say content. Okay, because I don't want to create two more components, I'm a bit lazy right now. So we are going to import a content from ./content. Okay, so right over here we have created a component as well. Let's control C. Let's create another component right over here. So content.jsx. Inside that we're going to have our React. We are going to have our function. We are going to name our function as content, 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 curly braces. Inside that we're going to return, we are going to return something. We are going to have here, let's remove that from index.js. So we'll just cut this entire thing out, save this, go back to our content, paste it. Then we are going to export everything from here. Is there some problem? Okay, so we need to have one parent element. So let's put everything inside a div tag. Okay, so we'll close this div tag right over here. Div tag. Okay, and then we are going to export it. So at the end, we need to export default, and then we are having a content. Let's save this right over here. Index.js is also done. Let's remove this. So you're having your heading, content, and list inside a div tag. Okay, so that is what we have made right over here. Let's go back to our website, reload the page, and as you're able to see, everything is being rendered properly. So there are three components that we have made. Okay, the first one is your React, that is the heading, then your content, and then your list. So these are the three things that we have created right now. Now, whenever you would usually be looking at React files, it wouldn't look like something like this. It would just be a single component called as app. Okay. So let's create that as well. Let's create a new file called as app.jsx. Okay. This is our parent component that contains everything. So instead of like writing it again and again, I'm just going to copy it from right over here, paste it into app.jsx. We are going to remove everything from here. So this is going to be app. We are going to have the name of the export as well as app. We need to put everything, we need to remove everything from here. So let's remove this. Let's paste it up in app.jsx. Let's remove everything from here as well. Let's paste it up in app.jsx. So we need to have the return statement fixed as this. Let's put it up a bit further. Okay, so now this is done. So app.jsx is functioning. Here we are just going to import app.jsx. So import app from, now this path we will be changing it, but right now we need to import the app, and then we are going to close it. We are going to render it right over here. Here you are going to have your app as a self-closing tag. So as soon as I'm saving it right over here, this is usually the structure of the index.js that you will be looking at in various React projects. Your main app goes inside the app.jsx file itself, which contains the components that you want to place, and then you are having your different components that go along the way. So if you are looking at our website once again, you are able to see nothing changes. It looks the same way. Now the issue is with file system. As you are able to see, you will be creating a lot many components at any point of time. Okay, and you don't want your files to look something like this. So what we are going to do is we are going to create another folder inside of your source folder itself called as components. Okay, so the name of this folder is usually components itself, and what you will be doing is all the three you will be moving it to components. Okay, whatever you are having your components that you will be building up, okay, it will be going inside the folder called as components. So let's shift the heading as well inside components, the list as well as inside the components. Now all the components will be in the folder components so that it's easily accessible. And in the index.js, you want to change the path for the same. So it won't be ./app. It would be components.components/app. Okay. Okay, so this will be the path that you will be specifying, because right now you're going in the same folder. Okay, you are going into the components folder, and inside the components you are having your app.jsx, as you are able to see, and that is the file that contains your entire hierarchy for the components. Okay, so you can of course divide this as well when you are creating a bigger project. So it will be one for the navigation bar, one for the inside the app itself, one for the let's say hero footer and all those kind of stuff, and then inside of that you will have separate things as well. So let's remove everything else. Okay, so we are having our app.jsx and your index.jsx, and if you are looking at our website, it works the entire same way. There's no change in the website. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know. What happened with Anish Avasthi? What happened with Anish Avasthi? Did something happen? Like I'm able to say it right now itself. What did he do? Did he did something because somebody deleted all his messages and put it for a timeout for 5 minutes, I guess. Have you guys understood up till here? Please let me know. And you share the code on WhatsApp group. Vishal, I've already shared the link of my okay, I will just share it again. Copy sandbox link. This is the entire code I've already shared with you guys before as well. Okay. Okay, so now we have understood a bit about like components as well, a brief understanding. So let's try to understand about the import and export. Okay, that is something that we currently know very less about. So what we are going to do right now is we are so when are we going to build Amazon clone? So from tomorrow we'll be working upon that. Today we will be completing all the concepts that I feel is necessary for the project. Inside the project as well, some more concepts will come up and we'll be learning about that continuously as we are currently doing as well. But these are the foundation knowledge that I want you guys to understand before starting the project itself. So from tomorrow, we'll be starting off with the project. Will that be fine with you guys? Please let me know. Okay, great. So right now what we are going to do is, I think so we have some time left. Yeah, we have a lot of time left. So we will now try to understand about the import export using some examples. Of course, this is not exactly like, this is just a high level overview of the same. Inside there's a lot of different things that goes on, classes, objects, and so on and so forth, but we are going to learn it as a small example itself. Okay, so don't worry about it. So let's do one thing. Let's go back to our code right over here. Let's go back to index.js. Okay, or let's go back to list. Okay, so we are in our list .jsx file. What we are going to do is we are going to, instead of having the Redux components and hooks, let's change it to 1, 2, and 3 for right now. Let's save it right over here. Go back to our website, reload the page. As you're able to see, the things 1, 2, 3 are showing up right now. Now instead of 3, I want to have the value of pi. Okay, shown right over here. So can somebody let me know what is the value of pi? Can someone let me know what is the value of pi? Please let me know. This is the latest code, Neeraj. Please open it. Uh, does somebody know the value of pi up till a few more digits? Okay, so 15962. I also remember up till like 1596. I think I remember up till that. So 141596 2. I guess that's the value of pi if I'm not wrong. It has been a lot of time since I've dealt with the value of pi, but yeah. Okay, so what we are going to do right now is we are going to create another file right over here, and we are going to name it as, let's create another file inside components. Increase this size, create a new file. Let's call this as py.js. This is a JavaScript file that we are going to create. We are going to have our const pi, that is the value, that is 3.1415. Let's take up till that, and what we are going to do is we are going to export. Okay, so whatever we have created right over here, we need to export it as a default value. Okay, that is pi from this particular file. Now to utilize this value, like we have done already, we are going to import it right over here. So import pi from dot slash pi. Okay, so as you're able to see, you don't have to put your js.js. It already takes that into account, and now you can directly use this right over here, as it is JavaScript, so you will have to use it inside of curly brackets. Save this right now, go back to our website, reload the page, and as you are able to see, we are getting our pi value, that it is showing up right over here. Okay, so that's a simple example of like export and import that we have already seen with our, let's say, the other things that we were working upon, so basically the components itself. But what if you have multiple functions? What happens then? Okay, so inside the pi, let's create more functions. Let's create a function called as, let's say, dpi dpi, and we are going to have the value of return value set to as 2 times pi, so like 2 times pi. Let's create another function right over here, function. Okay, let's create tpi, that is 3 times pi, so return 3 times pi. Let's create a simple here as well. Now we are, as this is a export default pi, so the value that you are currently exporting is just the value of pi right now. You are not able to access these two functions as of this particular moment. But what if I want, like, my list should be able to access that value as well? What should I do right now? So for that, you have to have another export line, okay, that you can use. And inside this particular export, what you're going to do is you're going to export your DPI as well as TPI. So that is the aim. Okay. Are you guys able to see this? Please let me know. So we are going to export our DPI as well as our TPI right over here. Okay, so now this export needs to be imported there as well. So once I have exported this, it needs to be imported in our file as well. Okay, now the issue right over there is your export default. Okay, so for example, I can change this to like p as well. I just have to change this to p and it will still work. There will be no issues. Your pi would still, you will still be able to see your pi value showing up right over here. There's no issue. You can change the name for your default export, but when it comes to normal export, just when you are using export, you cannot change the name. You have to use the exact same name that they have suggested. To do that, what you can do is you just have to write DPI as well as TPI to be imported inside our list.jx. You're having your p, and then along with that we want to import our DPI as well as our TPI from the function. Okay, now of course you can directly use this as well. So we can have our p set up right over here. The next will be our DPI, and then we'll be having our TPI set up right over here. When we are saving this, going back to our website, reloading the page, so it's not showing up. Did I make some mistake right over there? Okay, so the issue that came up right over here is that inside our code, the objects that we are exporting is our functions. And to this functions are being exported not as the default value, but as an export itself. So you are exporting a function. You will have to call that. So this DPI and TPI are actual functions itself. So you will have to call these functions so that it is able to work. So we are going to call these functions up, go back to our website, reload the page. As you're able to see, it starts working. I just went to some other page. As you're able to see, it starts working. You are having your pi value, you are having your DPI value, you are having your TPI value as well. Now, okay, so this was like I was able to understand up till here. There's no issues with that. But what if I don't want to like write DPI and TPI inside the import? Like the import becomes too large for somebody to be able to use it. Okay, so what you can do is, if you want to import everything from pi, you can just remove everything from right over here, change it to a star mark. Okay, that is an asterisk mark, so that you are actually importing everything up from the file, that is your pi file, and you will name it as let's say import star, that is asterisk, that is all. Basically in programming, asterisk means all. So import all as let's say p. Okay, let's import all as p. Now to access your DPI, you can just put p.dpi and p.tpi. Okay, you don't have to write the entire thing right over here. It can be as short as import star as p from pi. Okay, now your default is pi, so p basically denotes to pi itself, and then you can directly have your rest of the code like this. And if you're going to your website, okay, should we reload the page? Okay, so we are getting some error. Okay, so we need to import pi. So p dot default. Now I think so that would work. Yeah. So basically what is happening is, let's try to print out what p is. So console dot log. Let's try to log it off as p. Okay, let's see what a p contains. So let's go back to our website, reload the page. Let's go into our inspect element. Let's go to our console. We have loaded up an object. As you are able to see, the object, it's a JavaScript object. So p that you have imported, import star as p, that is a JavaScript object right over here. It has a default value of 3.145, and you are having two functions inside of it. You are having your DPI function and your TPI function. So to access the value stored inside p, you will have to access as p.default, that access the default value, that is 3.14, and then you are having your p.dpi, that is the function, and the p.tpi, that is another function inside of your p. Are you, so this is something that is an extra information itself, basically how import works. Now why this is preferred over like require? So before this we were using require itself. Now require is something that is a pure JavaScript function. Okay, it's a pure JavaScript function. Now with the problem with that is, it, you can use it at any point of time, it will work, but it will work with only 80% of the browsers. Now the current if you are having 100 browsers, 80% of them would be on the latest version of ES6, and you will be able to use require as well. Whereas import basically gets converted to a lower level JavaScript by Babel, and that is able to like be implemented on 100% of the browsers. So this will never prove to be an error at of your website at any other browser as well. It will work on all the browsers. So that is the reason why we prefer to use import over require. There are other reasons as well, which can definitely search for on Stack Overflow. Okay, if you're going on Stack Overflow, you will be able to find it. So let's comment this out. And that is the entire thing about import and export. Okay, are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know. Are you guys able to understand up till here, guys? Please let me know. 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 Ple Who is not able to understand? Let me know that. Like, I'm able to see that most of you are able to understand. Who is not able to understand up till here? Okay, so that's great. Everybody is able to understand up till here. That's amazing. Do one thing. Yesterday for the attendance link, I was not able to put up the phone number, so it became very difficult for me to reach out to anyone. So today, in the today's attendance link, I have already put up the phone number as well, if I remember it correctly. Yeah, I had put up the phone number. Where? Yeah, I put up the phone number as well. So just put up your phone number right over here as soon as possible. Just after this boot camp is over, line by line, I will start to call each and every one of you. I expect there are 150, 160 of you listening to me live right now. So I will be calling each and every one of you to like just understand the feedback and everything upon the program. Okay, from tomorrow we are going to start off with our project as well, so we need to be ready for that. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Please like the video. Once again, I'm reminding you guys, it's really very important. If you have like 1 minute time, just like the video, and then we'll be ending up our class. Okay. So once the number of likes reaches above 120, we will be showing you the attendance link. Let's try that. Maybe for the attendance link, people are liking the video. Explain default again. Okay, so default is basically like that is the default value that is going to be exported. By default, this is the value, this is the object that should be exported if nothing has been called off. Whenever you are doing that, that needs to be like that is the like sole stopper for that particular uh whatever you're trying to import. Okay, so default is used for that. You can change the name for default as well, so you can put it up as pi, you can put it up as capital pi, you can put it up as like Poseidon value incident or something like that. You can change the name as well. If you're not exporting it as a default, you will have to use the same name, and there are other problems that you will be taking up later on as well. Okay, I will talk to you individually, MD Bilal. Okay, I will try to contact as many of you as possible. Okay, like I said, I will show the attendance link once the number of likes goes above 100. It's like 10 more likes, guys. So why to use import star as p? Can you explain that again, Arya? Like I had said, you don't want to write like import pi comma then in like if you have 50 different functions, you don't want to write the name of 50 different functions that you want to import. Okay, so it's an easier method. You don't have to write a lot. You can just write our import star as p and then use that p to call off different functions. So just to make the code a bit shorter, that is the reason why we are using it. Okay. So when we'll get to know about the campus ambassador, SS, I'm so sorry. Like it was my responsibility to handle the campus ambassadors as well, but I'm not getting enough time from the job as well as from handling everything right over here. But what I will do is I will definitely try as soon as possible. I will be reaching out to the campus ambassadors, talking to them directly, and we'll try to figure it out as well. Okay. Okay, great. So let's show the attendance link. Please fill the form as soon as possible, guys, so that I'm able to call you guys as soon as possible. First, I will be calling those who have contacted me on WhatsApp. Once all that has been done, then I will be contacting the rest of you as well. For those who are interested in the full stack training and internship program, there are two batches. One is going to start from the 23rd of this month, and the second one is going to start from the 1st of June. So if you are interested in enrolling that, either the full stack or the data science, do let me know so that we can get you enrolled in that program as well. Okay. Okay, guys. So I guess that should be more than sufficient. Okay, so let's meet tomorrow with the project. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.